in seconds.
Yeah.
And from there, he was really tough, and I had to regather myself a little bit, think I've got to box him a bit more, break him up a little bit more. We eventually knocked him out in the 7th round.
Yeah, so what happens, like, when you knock somebody out in the, like, you know, knock somebody down in the first 20 seconds of a fight, he goes down, your confidence is up. Then you go in round 2, bosh. You gave him a good hiding, good beating, and then all of a sudden he doesn't go down. Like, he perseveres. What does that do to you mentally?
You have to regather your thoughts. You have to think, right, I've trained hard enough. I know what I've got to do now. He hasn't gone. You got to, because if I went out for the 3rd round like I did for the first 2, it doesn't matter how fit you are. If you're going at sprinting at 100 miles an hour, you can't sustain that. So I thought, just box behind my jab. I was still winning the rounds, and get him when the time comes. And that round 7 belt, when the bell and the ring cards went up for round 7, I thought, right, there's only 4 rounds to go now. I can unload a little bit more. I've conserved my energy well. He'd be feeling the pace as well. I was trying to draw him onto things, and then the right hand over the top came, and it was a great shot, because Harry Armstrong's a tough man. He give a lot of people a tough fight. He's had lots and lots of amateur fights. I think he boxed for England at one point, so he was really confident going into that fight because he thought he had more pedigree than me. But we dealt with him and convincingly beat him.
What made you go down that route of Southern Area Champion?
It's old school, it's traditional. And where I've not had the pedigree as an amateur, I only had 10 amateur fights. Not that means too much, I don't think, because you can be a fantastic amateur. You still got to start again when you turn professional. It's a different sport. But it's a traditional belt to win. I'd love to do the traditional route, Southern Area, English, British, Commonwealth. And yeah, it just made perfect sense at the time to have a title fight of that sort and get a bit of legitimacy in my career. So people who did think I'm just a ticket seller, that's all I am. I've won a professional belt here that other people would like to have.
How important is confidence in terms of a press conference? So it is all about selling tickets. Let's be honest, it's an arena.
It's a show. Boxing is a show, and you want to entertain people.
So how much of that show do you bring? Because you know Tyson Fury is always selling a show out. He can do it single-handedly sometimes. You know, how much of a showman are you? Do you like getting on the mic? Do you like trash talking? Like, what's your style?
I'm not a trash talker, but what I think people like to buy into is someone who's authentic and trying to be themselves, and that doesn't mean be boring and say nothing and just fight and don't engage with people. It's about engaging with people, but not being fake, not being false, letting people know your personality. People are interested, obviously, because I'm exciting to watch, but you want to engage people as much as you can. So it's not just a press conferences. It's like doing things at the brewery and getting people who want to come and meet you, going to see them, and giving every fan a T-shirt when they come to a fight. You know, it's all little things like that, making a whole day of it for people. That's what sells as well, and making sure people get good value for their money, because it's a lot in this economic climate for people to spend 60, 100, 250, 500 pounds sometimes for a ticket if they want ringside. So you've got to make sure it's worth it for people the whole day.
Absolutely. You've got a nickname, the Romford Bull.
Yes.
Where did that come from?
I was sparring in Vegas, and one of the coaches, I can't remember exactly, he said, "You fight like a bull, man. You fight like a bull. Where are you from?" And I said, "I'm from Romford." He said, "You should be called the Romford Bull." And it just stuck from there. Because I was aggressive, even more so back in the day when I didn't really know what I was doing. I was just going in there and giving it a good go for 3-4 rounds. So I always have that bullish style, you know, and it's a good name, and it's become a sticking point, you know.
I like it, because you've got Romford in it, and that's
Romford.
where we're from.
Romford in the roots.
Okay, so let's talk about Emilio Salas.
Yeah.
He had a 7-win to 4 losses streak.
Yeah.
Left hook first round.
Yeah, that fight, I could sense he was not going to be much cop when I first went in there, because we was really expecting a tricky southpaw. We thought, let's get a southpaw under the belt, because we haven't fought one. He was a Golden Gloves champion back in America in his amateur days, so he's had great pedigree. But I think in the build up to the fight, I could sense a bit of fear within him, and I just don't think he fancied it when we got in the ring.
Where's that intuition of sensing that fear come from?
Not making eye contact when we're in the face off, bit twitchiness in the eyes.
Is eye contact really important?
Shakiness in the body. I think you can sense a lot from that. I remember I walked out, always look at the venue before I fight when I get there. Okay. He was there as well, and he was nervous. I could sense it, and I think even with that cuffing shot on the left hook around the side, it weren't a clean shot, but you could still feel the power, and I don't think he fancied it too much, so that was disappointing. So we went straight from that fight. A week later, announced we were on the fighting Harry Armstrong on the AJ undercard for the southern area. So you quickly move on, you know. But I was expecting a tough test, an awkward test with a southpaw. Eddie Hearn came in the change room before and said he's not going to be easy.
Yeah.
He's going to give you some rounds to think about. Don't rush in, but that's the way it goes, I guess.
What are the dangers of facing a southpaw in the heavyweight division?
Obviously, your jabs clash a lot because you're both, my jab's here, his jab's here. The backhand is a lot more, comes into play a lot more, and that's obviously your power shot. So you've got to be careful. It's very, very easy to land your backhand. So it's a danger for them, but also a danger for yourself.
How often do you have to spar to be ready for southpaws?
It's more so you do it. I actually sparred a southpaw yesterday for a couple of rounds, but it's more so in your training camp. If you're sparring a southpaw, you want to be sparring. If you're fighting a southpaw, you want to be sparring the southpaws all through your camp for 8 weeks, you know. So
when you're in camp, do you try to get a sparring partner which mimics your opponent?
yeah, as much as you can. It's also good to get people who are going to give you good intense work to get your fitness levels up. But if you're fighting someone who's tall and long, you want to get tall and long sparring in. Someone who's more of a boxer than a fighter, you want to get people with more boxing skills. So you get the correct sparring in because you just get into good habits of preparing for that guy. You need a blueprint, and to work on that blueprint, you need someone who's going to mimic what you're going to get in the fight.
Mm-hmm. Nice. Michael, is it Passenger?
Michael Reisinger from the Czech Republic as well.
Old spelling mistake.
He was a tough man, a proud man, a football hooligan, I think, of some sort in Czech Republic.
Round 2 just starts. Big overhand.
Yeah, I caught him at the end of the first round as well with a right hand as he came in. He used to box on the Czech Republic Muay Thai national team, so proud man. And he was gutted afterwards because he's a proud, tough man. And that was good because that was just after I broke my hand in that fight, on my 5th fight, when it went to points. So it was good to come through that psychologically and get a really crisp, clean knockout.
When you have an injury like break your hand, is it the same when it's repaired and fixed?
It's stronger now. So you see these 2 knuckles, they're a lot bigger, these ones, than them 2. The scar tissue has actually made it more dense and stronger. So you have to look after your hands because they do get damaged, they do break. Yeah. So warming them up before and after, like any muscle, is important. Cryotherapy work on them as well. So you have to look after your hands.
Cryotherapy? It's
a cold treatment, and I can get a spray on it, and that's what I like. Prefer local cryotherapy to the actual chambers. I think an ice bath is better than the chamber.
Really?
And it just penetrates deep below the skin, gets rid of inflammation. So if you've had a hard spar or been hitting the pads very hard, just a little bit of spray on that for 5 minutes will get that inflammation down quicker and allow it to heal quicker. And then the blood, and when it heats up, the blood starts flushing through a lot quicker as well. So there's all little tricks of the trade that you need to know, and warming up properly and wearing the correct protection, putting sponges on your hand, wrapping them up, using tape, that's all important as well.
Johnny, how hard do you hit?
Hard. Very hard. One thing I know is I can punch very, very hard. And it's exciting for people to watch. When I punch people and I know they're gone, it's more of like it's not like they go to sleep power, it's more like it just rattles their brain. That's what I can see. Without sounding too graphic, there's different types. Deontay Wilder is the sniper, put you to sleep power. Yeah. Joshua's sort of got that, but he's got unbelievable power in other ways, rattling people's brains. Dubois, I think, has got that ability to sleep people, but I've got that one where it's like imagine like a glass and it's full of like marbles inside of it, and I'm just smashing it, and people's brain is rattling inside. It's thumping power, I think. Joe Joyce is similar. He's got that thumping power, and you can bamboozle people like that. I remember, obviously, when I fought Alan Babbage recently, the first 1-2, it rattled him because his legs went a bit funny, and then when I followed it up with the 8-punch combination, it was more of a rattle, and it put his legs all over the place, and that's to do with where you hit people as well. I like to try and hit people on the temple because it rattles your brain a little bit more. As barbaric as this sounds, this is the sport we're in, and you hit someone on the temple, it frazzles the brain more than if you hit them anywhere else. Obviously, you want to hit the chin as well. That can knock people out. The nose as well is important to bludgeon that because it will affect their breathing a little bit, and it's very graphic when you think about it, but this is the sport we're in, and they're going to try and do it to me as well.
How ethical is boxing? Because some people are still out there going, how can 2 men or women be beating each other like senselessly, and this is all legal sort of thing?
we've seen in the news this week people stabbing each other to death. I remember I just saw in Southend, which is 25 minutes from us, two young men holding massive ninja swords, scimitars, just holding them and slashing people to death. And there is a lack of law and order in this country right now. And the one thing I know from a boxing gym is all people from all walks of life,